1, 2, new episode for you.
3, 4, we're gonna talk some more.
5, 6, there's no dicks.
7, 8, get messaged hate.
9, 10, never sleep again.
That's what we wanted to do after watching this week's film, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I am, as always, your host, Carl, and I'm joined by my co-host, Alex.
Sup?
And we're joined again this week by Halloween Queen, Lizzie.
Woo!
Yeah! Thanks for coming back. I'm glad we didn't scare you off last week.
Oh, thank God.
That voice scared me off, so I'm not coming back after this week.
Oh, hi guys, how we doing? We're gonna do A Nightmare on Elm Street this week.
It's gonna be spooky.
It's gonna be real spooky, guys.
Wow.
We're gonna scratch our nails on walls.
Oh, I'm really scared of this guy by nightmares. He's got these really long fingernails, but actually they're like knives. Wow, this is going off the rails from the beginning.
Is there some way to delete a podcast before it's been released?
You said this joke last week. Get new
Yeah.
material, man.
Yeah, man, you can't just keep making jokes about taking over the editing responsibilities of my show. That's just more work for you, boy. You're welcome to.
I can delete the show.
Oh, fuck, he can. He knows the passwords.
Yeah, boy.
Change the password.
Yeah, I think I might have to now. No, but he uploads the YouTube videos.
There's videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like...
Oh, come
we
on.
release every episode of the podcast as a video.
Ladies and gentlemen,
with
if
the
you're
audio
listening
wave.
to this podcast on something that isn't our YouTube, just know that we also have a YouTube where you can listen to our videos.
Yeah, apparently people do that.
Yeah, some people have been known to.
Well, that's actually useful. I'll send my mom the link.
There you go.
Yeah, you
Because
can...
I don't
Mom,
have Groove
use it.
Shark or whatever. SoundCloud? I don't know what the fuck.
We're on
What
SoundCloud,
are
we're on
the-
Shout Engine. We're working on getting on
LimeWire.
iTunes right now.
Yeah.
You
That's
know.
it. Send it to your mum over LimeWire. I don't care.
Here, Mom, have a virus as well.
Here's a Trojan horse.
She'll get our podcast, a virus, and the nice Korean subtitles of our podcast. Game of Thrones with Mongolian subtitle. Well, this isn't what I bargained for.
I just thought of Mongolian beef, and I'm really hungry now.
We'll get Mongolian beef after.
Good, because I also want Mongolian beef now.
So for now, we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, which is... So this week we went for like one of the classic 70s, 80s American horror films.
It was
Yeah, this
80s.
No, I know, but this one's from the 80s.
Oh, yes,
but I'm
gotcha,
saying it's
gotcha.
from those two decades.
Like, considering Halloween came out in like
1970.
Yeah.
I think
78.
78.
78 or so.
figures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like late 70s. And
Jamie
sort
Lee
of-
Curtis before she threw her career down the toilet with Freaky Friday.
I will not have you
Flush
disrespect that national treasure.
Oh God.
National treasure. It's an Australian national treasure.
Yeah.
Freaky
Really,
Friday.
Freaky Fridays.
Yeah.
is-
Not
is
Priscilla,
an
Queen of the
yeah.
Desert. Masterpiece.
No, Freaky Friday.
That's a gosh darn shame. It really is.
A
Well,
list of
that's why
great
this-
Australian films. There's The Castle, and then there's Freaky Friday.
So glad
That
I
is
immigrated
shameful.
here.
Yeah.
You know-
Such rich culture we have in this country.
Bless. It's like I never even left America.
So
But how's the Serenity?
hours.
It's
of
going
it,
straight to the pool room.
Ah,
You're welcome for that.
Tell him he's dreaming. Should we just do an episode on the castle?
Later.
or- Okay.
I swear, it's what it's turning into.
Yeah,
but
that's
anyways,
what this is becoming. So this is like, if I had to go through like top 5 horror movie monsters, I think Freddy Krueger would definitely be up there for sure.
Oh yeah, only look, he himself is I don't find particularly scary.
No,
Like burn victims I just find pity for.
yeah, that's
But it's the fact that you can't sleep.
fair. Yeah,
I need sleep.
I mean, he's also.
We all need sleep technically.
I mean, Freddy Krueger is so much more than just a burn villain, though, because he is a child murderer / molester, depending on which script you read.
I feel like they didn't touch into this that much. I feel like there was a lot of things that they touched way more into in the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I was reading on this, the original script had it as him being a child molester.
Mm-hmm.
But when the film was in production, there was a string of child
Protesters?
molestation of incidents in California at the time. So they didn't want to be accused, they didn't want to seem like they were cashing in on it. So they changed it all to him being just a child murderer.
Yeah. Yeah,
which,
okay.
Still, both terrible.
Still bad because
so-
at least 20 children died. 20 children died.
20
and you couldn't-
children.
20. You let it get up to 20?
Seriously, how the hell does this man escape jail time?
They're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Just
It's not even
every
across
kid.
the state. If it was across the state, I could probably understand that. But 20 kids died in our neighborhood, Nancy. Okay,
How?
Mom.
Um,
Your husband's like the chief of police. Why did you not get an
He's really bad at his job.
That's why our graduating class is of 4, and we're all dating each other.
There's actually ring around. There's actually the suggestion that those 4 aren't actually or weren't always only children, and some of their siblings were taken by Freddy.
You know, that would explain a lot because it seems like the chief of police and the mom, Nancy's mom, they're never really seen together, and a lot of big marital problems. Like another big cause for divorce is if a child dies in the family.
Yeah.
So I would. That's a good theory.
And it definitely seems from what we see, like with Tina's parents, Nancy's parents, not so much Glenn's.
Glenn's
But-
parents, yeah, they look pretty solid.
Yeah, they seem together, but Tina's her dad ditched. I think they mentioned 10 years ago. Her mom's with her boyfriend, and they disappear to LA when she's not LA to Vegas when she's murdered. Nancy's parents don't exactly seem to have like the best working
Marital
relationship.
bliss.
Her father's never home, like ever. He always seems like he's at the police station or something, whether it's morning, night, whatever.
And my mom's always drinking. She's pulling out vodka bottles everywhere.
She
Yeah,
she
turn
at
around
one
and-
point, you at one point said, "Where'd she get the bottle?" And that scene, she reaches like into like the closet that everyone has in their house. It's just full of sheets and blankets.
Yeah.
And just pulls a bottle out from like a pile of sheets.
Yeah, no, and then there's like, because there's another scene earlier where
Yeah.
she's sitting down, they go down to the basement, and she's got another vodka bottle there.
I do.
And then there was that box of like Jack Daniels, like a box.
just a crate of it.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, there's a great moment in there when it's just after Nancy pulls Freddy's hat out of the dream, and she sits there trying to hide the bottle from Nancy, and we can keep.
So obviously,
Oh, it's
too.
super
She's
obvious,
like,
like-
"Oh, don't look what's behind my back. I don't have anything." Yeah, okay, Mom.
But it's
We know it, you like to day drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you fucking
And
hide
night
it.
drink.
Just because you put the hat in the drawer doesn't mean it didn't happen.
It literally has a murderer's like name in it, and she pulled it out of a dream. She didn't walk in there with it. God damn it, woman!
And for my next trick,
I'm going to pull a hat out of a dream. Nancy could be a proper magician in her later life. Who
yeah.
knows?
And why was she the only useful character? Why was she the only one who was just like this is? Well, besides Tina in the beginning, because Tina was pretty on top of it.
Was she?
She was. She was like, we all had the same nightmare. This is not good. And if she had lived past 20 minutes,
Past 20
18
minutes into the film.
18 minutes.
18 minutes.
Wow, she didn't make it the 20-minute mark.
She apparently dies 18 minutes exactly.
Oh, honey.
See,
At least she goes out with a bang.
Because she dies immediately after banging.
Yeah, that's the joke. We all got that.
See, now up until she was actually murdered, I was thinking that she was going to be the one that was going to wind
She
up
was
being
gonna be
final
the hero.
girl.
Yeah.
Because we see her first. She's got like that's pretty much it. Like we see her first in her dream, and I was like, oh, okay, they're following her.
Yeah,
so
we're
naturally
following
she's
her.
the main girl.
And then it
Nah.
it went to her boring friend Nancy, who it was actually really useful. She made all these
Yeah.
booby traps and shit.
She immediately like starts trying to track down like, okay, how are we going to get Freddy Krueger? And then goes to the anarchist cookbook and starts making like
Yeah.
IEDs.
Booby traps, everything like exploding
Sledgehammers
lights.
falling from ceilings.
Yeah, she straight up Home Alones her own house while
But,
she's
like,
in it.
But like a hardcore Home Alone, not just like, oh, this is going to stop some cops. It's like, no, this is going to murder some people.
This is gonna
Yeah,
kill
the
a dude.
sledgehammer will break your rib cage.
No, yeah, and then put in a friggin' light bomb.
That was pretty cool because
That
I
was
saw
cool
her
as
doing
heck.
that and I'm like, what is this? What is the point of this? Because I was thinking she was making one of those like ninja bombs. You know how they make those little tiny bombs and it's full of fragments and they throw it so that
Yep.
the shards get through the samurai mask shit.
Yeah,
I thought she was making something like that. No, exploding light bulb.
yeah, just
She
fill a light bulb
longest
with
yarded.
gunpowder. It's clever as hell.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, what's going on here? I thought it was just tripwire, but no, it was to make some explosions.
Yeah,
In her own house.
badass.
And she's got to be about like 16, 17. And I was not looking up booby traps when I was 16, 17. I think
Were
I
you
would
not?
have. I would have been Tina. I would have died.
Yeah, I think you would have been the murdered
Banging
one.
dudes and dying.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would have been Johnny Depp laying alone in bed watching TV, then dying.
Then just dying in a blood fountain.
Yeah.
Ah, Johnny Depp.
Glenn-
Before he ruined Harry Potter.
Glenn has. We talked about this on the Jaws episode about blood fountains.
Oh, yeah.
This has like the best blood fountain I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Which is just Johnny Depp gets sucked into his bed, then liquefied, and immediately just burst all over the roof.
Yeah,
It's
Pureed.
amazing. Yeah,
it's puree.
he gets juiced. It's awesome.
This is a Johnny Depp Slurpee.
Oh. Just like his mother sees a giant blood fountain, the cops show up, they bring the paramedics. What are the paramedics gonna do?
That was the first person who showed up. The
Yeah.
first person that showed up was a fucking ambulance. It's like, please reassemble my milkshake son.
Patient showing signs incompatible with life.
Just put him in the freezer. It'll solidify him again. Right as rain.
I like there's also the line when the lieutenant comes in, takes a look, he's like, "Where's the coroner?" And then his deputy says, "Oh, he's in the John. He's been throwing up since he got here." Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, even the coroner doesn't know what to do with this and is horrified by it.
Yeah, it's like, what killed him?
His bed became a blender and spat him out. We don't know.
Dude,
Yeah.
how would you even explain that? How?
There is that's
There's
the
no
thing, that's-
explanation.
Yeah, that's the moment when there's just no explanation. Like Tina
See-
dies and they're like, "Oh, Rod probably slashed her. He had a switchblade on him. Like this is possible."
Yeah, and then Rod, he died with like a hanging.
Yeah,
like,
Rod
his
Rod
was
looked
the most
like
graceful
yeah.
way to go. I feel.
Well, Rod's basically looked like a prison suicide.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was just he was hung with his own bed sheet. That's
But
just something that happened.
That's also something that bothered me because the physics didn't look right because he was really strung up there, you know, and they had just checked on him.
There's probably also the part of
it
like
not make
it's
sense,
supernatural with Freddy Krueger. Like
That's
he probably
true.
wasn't just choked out, but
But that's the cops, man. They're just like, well,
the cops are the most inept people. Like
Yeah,
no,
when-
you can't
when Nancy
you can't
was
check on
shouting-
him. We got it all fine. Nancy's sitting there shouting like, "I'm
please
going to
get
be
my
murdered.
dad. Help
There's
me.
a murderer in
it's
my house
gonna be okay,
right now."
Nancy. You're fine.
Yeah,
God.
you'll be fine. No, I'm screaming a blood-curdling scream that there's a murder in my house. Now go get some help. you
There's smoke
dumbass.
coming out of my fucking window.
My house is on fire. You could clearly see the murder if you're looking out the window.
Did they not
Yeah.
have smoke detectors in houses in the 80s? Is that not a
I
thing?
don't know. I was not alive.
Or at least in American households. Because I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there looking at like smoke pouring out of her front door, and I'm like, surely everyone in the neighborhood's hearing this at this point, right?
No, I don't know if they had, like, I don't know about the smoking alarms. And then, I'm gonna look this up.
All right.
Continue talking while I
Yeah, no worries.
investigate.
But like this comes back to I reckon it comes back to the whole like the way that they just accept that Glenn died, and the whole thing is it's a dream.
Yeah,
That's what it is. So like, there's no smoke alarms because it's a dream.
that's also true. This film does a great job of like blurring the line between reality and a dream.
That
You're
is
not really
true,
sure.
though.
Yeah, like
because-
and no, everyone just accepts it because it's
Yeah.
a dream.
Yeah,
the
it's a good
entire
point.
thing's a dream from the beginning. You think?
we don't know.
We don't know.
It's. I thought it was until the very end. I thought I had it figured out, and I think everyone would have. Where it's like, okay, here's the dream, and here's where the dream and reality end. But at the very end of it, it's like, hang on, at what point does this not make
Yeah,
sense?
because then the mother is fine. Everything's beautiful. It's so bright
Yeah,
outside.
that was definitely a
Yes,
dream.
You're just like,
that's
is this
definitely a
heaven?
dream.
Are they all dead already?
Yeah. So it makes me wonder, like, is the dream from the beginning? Is it when she is it that she never woke up after before torching Freddy?
Yeah.
Like, where does it stop?
I think the whole thing lends itself to being a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, especially when you get in the car and like there's all her friends there smiling and happy.
It's just like, but Tina was definitely dead, guys, and so was
Yeah.
Rod.
All of them
Rod
were
would-
dead. Glenn's
and, yeah,
driving a
Glenn-
car, not being a soup.
Not being a man soup.
It did look like tomato soup.
Yeah.
I
It made
looked it
me
up.
really hungry, actually.
Yeah, I thought it looked like pasta sauce. Like, but I looked it up. Apparently, it's just
Yeah.
red food dye in water.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
movie fake blood wasn't actually good enough.
Oh, really?
It didn't
Because
have the same effect.
Okay, because I figured because a lot of the time movie blood's like a sort of gelatin mix. So
Yeah.
it'd be a lot thicker.
Yeah, no, for what they wanted, it wasn't
For
good
just
enough.
spraying the room down with
Yeah.
a
Do
Do you
pressure
know how
washer
they
of
sprayed
blood.
Yeah,
it too?
so-
Was it like filmed upside
Yeah,
down or something?
I looked into it. So this comes back to the death scene with Tina. They had a rotating set. So you know how she moves up
The ceiling?
yeah, they rotated the set and she'd roll. Like, well,
Yeah, it looked like she was rolling on the floor, not a ceiling.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so like, she'd roll and roll, and then the thing would rotate and she'd roll, sort of thing, on repeat, sort of thing, and that's how it made she's moving while being dragged up the ceiling, sort of thing.
Fair.
They did the same with Glenn. However, instead of having the camera in an upright position, they had it upside down, and then they stuck the hose in to spray. Just get
Yes,
there was
that's what it
over
looked
500 gallons of blood used in this film.
Okay,
I
so
wouldn't be
no,
surprised
you're
if-
right. That was not enough. That doesn't make sense for one human.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the film
How many
entirely.
gallons are in a man?
I think
And-
it's 8.
Yeah. In the film entirely, there was like
I feel like 400. I feel like between all the takes, probably at least 450 would have been used to do Glenn.
oh yeah, of course.
Like,
'Cause
there's so much in that scene.
considering he just bites it and it's blood.
Oh god, it's such a beautiful movie.
But yeah, this film is full of like little things like that.
Mm.
It's like the radio station that Glenn listens to before he dies is KIGR,
Yeah,
which is Kruger without the vowels.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like
There's only 1.2 to 1.5 gallons of blood in a human.
yeah.
Oh,
it's-
God.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said 8. I was like, that doesn't.
I was thinking of liters.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's about
Damn.
5.5 liters, which makes sense.
yeah.
Sorry. What were you saying? I spaced out.
How the radio station that Glenn's listening to before he dies is KIGR, which is Kruger without the vowels.
Oh man.
Yeah, the film
It's
is
a-
like
it's a
I,
little
I,
subtle
look,
like
I
that
looked
that I
up a lot of this, and there's a lot of little things in it that make it.
That was really what I liked about it too, is because I expected a cheesy 80s slasher film, right?
Yeah.
But if it's still relevant to talk about today, I figured there must be some weight to it, you know?
Oh, definitely.
So, and there were little things there. I actually, one of my favorite bits in the entire film was before it got really surreal for Nancy, is all those little nightmares she had about Tina, like her in the body bag and stuff.
yeah.
That was really subtle. I liked it.
Yeah, I think the bizarrest part of this film for me was when they go into the when she picked up the phone trying to warn Glenn, and it's just the mouth.
Freddy's tongue comes out. I'll be your boyfriend, Tina.
Apparently, she wanted to keep that prop.
Yeah.
Nice.
They thought it was weird.
Yeah, the prop department was like, yeah, we don't know why.
She probably just thought it was funny.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, it's an iconic prop.
Yeah. Did she get to keep it?
I don't think so.
Fuckers.
Speaking of iconic props, I was looking up what happened to the Freddy Krueger glove, like his straight razor glove. It's actually really sad because I like items like that. Like I like those little props that like once they become popular, they have a bit of weight to them. The original glove was used in the first movie. It came back in the second movie, and then they lent it out to
Sam Raimi for the Evil
yeah,
Dead
for
2.
Evil Dead 2, where it's a prop on like a wall inside a shed in one of the scenes. Then they used it again for Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and it went missing on set and has never surfaced since. So that's really upsetting to me that somewhere out in the world, like the glove has just gone missing, and it's
someone
such an
stole
iconic
that
thing.
glove.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that glove is in someone's basement or something.
Yeah, someone has that glove.
Yeah.
Look, I would do the same.
I mean,
The amount of things
I would
I have
want that
stolen
so
from
much.
shows, I cannot say because who knows who's listening. I mean, I don't think your brother's gonna turn me in, but
His mum might.
I haven't
shocking.
stolen anything in my life ever.
Shifty eyes.
Supermarket security guards would say otherwise.
But of all the horror movie props though, that's one of the coolest.
Yeah.
I love the Freddy Krueger glove. It's such a cool, iconic piece.
It reminded me that the film that Nancy's watching before she goes to sleep is actually The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, they Wes Craven and Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi also worked on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
He was like, it was something. I remember I saw his name in the credits. I was like, oh, Sam Raimi.
Okay, that's cool.
And then so it turns out so they tied it in that way. It was a bit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
I was like seeing stuff
To
like
be
that.
honest, though, I feel like I've watched more remakes than the original movies because I've seen the Nightmare on Elm Street, the new one, and I've
Yep.
seen the new Evil Dead, which
Yep.
I fucking hated.
Really?
Okay. Well, I don't really like gratuitous. Look, if there's gonna be gratuitous killing, I don't think I like that it's realistic.
Okay.
Oh, you got to make it like almost
Cheesy,
cartoon.
yeah.
You got to make it cartoon.
I like it
Okay.
campier because then I feel like there's a level of detachment. Whereas if it's very real, it makes my soul like cry.
Yeah.
Especially like in the new Evil Dead, like all the people damage. Like I was minorly uncomfortable. I was like, oh, that's a bit much. But it was the dog that really set me
It's
off.
always the dog, though.
It's
isn't
always
it?
the dog.
Like, that's
It's always
the thing
the
that
dog.
got to me with
like
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Oh,
If she had maybe killed this dog, because the whole thing is that she needed X amount of souls, right?
Yeah.
And if she would have like maybe slashed the dog's neck, I would have been sad and would have been like, oh man, that's sad. But no, she freaking killed this dog in the worst way possible. She smashed his. No, I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
It's so bad.
Okay.
yeah, that
But
just sounds awful.
so now that you've seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street and the remake, how do you think they stack up against one another?
I definitely feel like the old Nightmare on Elm Street was very revolutionary for its time and
Yep.
how it told horror stories and how like you said, the little details. And I can see how when it first came out, it would have been terrifying. Especially the worst part is when freaking I can't remember if it was Tina or Nancy. They grabbed at his face and it just fell off.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was Tina.
That was Tina. That was horrible. Hated that. But the new Nightmare on Elm Street really delves more into the parents and the lynching, and they really delve into what he did. And I remember the two characters. I think it was the Nancy character and her boyfriend. They go to where Freddy Krueger used to like hang out, and they find pictures of children.
Yep.
Yeah, so it really delves into like the
remake
disgusting nature of it.
Yeah, the remake touches on him being a child molester more than just being a child murderer in that one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It was more.
yeah.
It was more of a. There was more layers to it.
A bit more character driven.
Yes.
Yeah.
A bit more character driven, and the nightmares were still scary, and it was still very hard to watch in some ways. But I feel like the original is more nightmare driven.
Yep.
Where the new one is more backstory and character driven.
Yeah. I do like something that this movie does really well is with those nightmares, it does a lot of practical effects.
Yeah.
Which hold up really well and look really cool. Like the moment when Nancy's climbing up the stairs and it just starts like the stairs just fall apart beneath her into goo. And it's just like, that's just like pancake mix.
Yeah, I like how it's just like, make sure you step here.
Yeah.
Because it looked like a definite outline of a foot. like when she stepped in, I was like, this has already been made.
But it looks cool. And
it does.
I love those effects. And it came out like really... and I was sitting there like, oh man, that's just like a dream where you're trying to run away, but just can't. You're feebly like stepping in goop.
Yeah, apparently the producer had that dream. Like the special effects guy had that dream before, and he was like, "Oh, this one."
I got this.
I got this, guys.
No, the thing about one of the effects that really got me was when they set the dude on fire.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
He was on that entire thing was one take. Like multiple cameras set up because you can't set a dude on fire more than once, really.
That's true.
You can, but stunt guys don't. Here's the thing. Tip for the audience. Never light yourself on fire. Like, just don't do that. It's terrifying. It's a horrible experience, and it's very difficult to do in a safe way.
Yeah.
So stunt guys don't want to set themselves on fire. That's just it. Like, there are ways. Like, sure enough, you put on a mask, you put on the burn-resistant clothing, you cover yourself in the fluid, and you light yourself up. Sure, that's as safe as you can get it. But it's horrible.
Yeah. It's like, although we could tell when he became the dude that was going to be set on fire, because Freddy went from being like a vaguely skinny dude to thick.
Yeah, 3 hours of makeup on Robert Englund's face to then being a mask pulled over his head.
Yeah, it was very noticeable. Especially I remember watch him fall down the stairs and be like, oh, thick boy.
Thick boy.
Especially since when your computer started like loading it was paused, and you're like, that's a mask.
The real horror movie is buffering, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Buffering.
But yeah, there was a lot of practical effects, and those were all pretty good. Like the tongue phone thing was
tongue phone.
Oh,
yeah, terrifying.
That was pretty gross.
Even Freddy Krueger's arms growing in Tina's dream, which is fishing poles pulling his arms out.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That was.
It's weird.
That
but
was
you can
weird,
see...
and then he ran like a child. It felt like a kid running, like, I'm gonna get you.
Freddy Krueger's like the most of all horror movie monsters. He's the most like kind of villain of all of them.
It's like, here, little girls and boys, I'm gonna get you. He wasn't.
Come to Freddy, I'm gonna get ya.
Yeah, it's just it was the Rick and Morty character, Scary Terry.
Yeah, you can see where Scary Terry comes from. Like, you can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Yeah, it was. I was like, am I meant to be scared of him? Like when he'd cut himself open and then just like all the maggots would fall out.
That's pretty horrifying.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, and when he cut off his own fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like cuts his own
Look at
fingers
this. It's like, whoa, okay.
I mean, that I'd be pretty scared if a guy just held up his hand and started like cutting him off with a straight razor finger. That'd be pretty damn terrifying.
Yeah. There were I feel like he was He was playing with them.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were essentially still children in his mind, I felt.
Oh,
yeah, that
absolutely.
I think that was the point. Really.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
A lot of Freddy Krueger is like, you can definitely see in a lot of those nightmare sequences that he's not just going straight for it. He's playing around with these.
He's not trying to be
victims.
menacing.
No.
He's not trying to be like this looming figure. He wants to make this a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
he's
wants
all
them
about
as
the
scared
chase.
as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And there's a lot of times in this movies where he's straight up just wrestling a child. Like,
Yeah.
he's sitting there, like, flailing the knife hand at him, and he's got, like, this teenage girl throwing him about.
Yeah.
And he's just rolling with the punches at that point. Like,
Yeah.
yeah come on, get me, kid.
Yeah. Wow.
Luigi.
Oh, gee.
Wow, Luigi, gonna get you.
That's the real nightmare.
What, no Waluigi in Smash?
Yes.
You're right, though. There was a lot of, like, elements where he was just, like, playing with them and, like, messing with them.
Yeah.
One of the other things I liked that you talked about, like, and we were talking about, like, the whole irregularity of the dream.
Yeah.
Was in this final sequence when Nancy starts going downstairs.
Yep.
Then she goes into a basement, and then she goes down another flight of stairs into
Oh,
a
yeah.
sub-basement. Then goes down a third flight of stairs, a spiral staircase
into the boiler room
into the
where
boiler
Freddy
room.
was hiding.
Then
Yeah.
she goes down a ladder.
Yep.
Then she goes down another flight of stairs while she's fighting Freddy.
Inception.
And then she falls. Then she
she
goes down there's another flight of stairs in there
Yep.
somewhere, and then she falls out her window.
Yeah, then she falls
on the
out her
second floor.
bedroom window into her front lawn, into her bed, where
Yeah.
she wakes up.
Yeah. She falls.
Oh,
Like a dream.
She falls out from her window onto the ground. She falls out.
Yeah, onto the ground, where, like she falls onto the trellis,
Yeah.
then wakes up in her bedroom with the trellis still.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had
Yeah.
like roses in her.
Yeah. I was like, what? Because she
Maybe I am
wrestles
just
Freddy.
Crazy.
Yeah, but that's definitely like a dream sequence
Yeah.
that makes sense. I like that.
So,
Because
yeah,
that was the thing that always got me to begin with, was that they always seem to be traveling.
Yeah.
And like in dreams, you just wake up and you're there. Like
Yeah.
you like you don't wake up, but like you kind of like your mind shifts and you're there.
this movie,
It's like Leonardo DiCaprio says, do you ever realize when you're dreaming you don't know how you got there? You're just there?
Exactly. Like no, but Inception really captures that well, where they are just they go somewhere. They're like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna go this place. Then they're there.
and this movie does a really good job where the dream sequences aren't too fantastical.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Upside Down in Stranger Things where they, like, go into this other dimension or this dream world and suddenly everything's wrong. It's the house as they remember it, but things aren't spatially
They're
correct.
not quite right.
Yeah, like, you're able to go downstairs in your own basement and suddenly you're in in some nightmarish boiler room.
I found out that boiler room was later condemned. Like,
Full of asbestos, as it turns out.
Surprising.
Not shocking, actually.
yeah,
It's-
like a
it's the
few weeks later,
80s.
it was condemned.
No wonder we got it so cheap.
That's the real nightmare.
Oh, no, it was
Asbestos.
a boiler room in a
Asbestos.
prison, apparently.
There's a boiler room in a prison.
Yeah.
Was the prison condemned or just the boiler room?
I think the entire prison.
Damn.
I don't remember. I just read that it was condemned. I'm like, is this boiler room or the prison? I hope the prison.
Yeah, but good on you for looking that up.
But yeah, so there was a lot. You're right though. There was a lot of like little things that were just like slightly wrong, and like part of me wonders whether or not like I know the mum's an alcoholic, so she stashes alcohol everywhere.
Yeah.
But that was
Everywhere.
like part of the thing was whether or not in the dream. Does she also do that? Is that like part of the dream where it's
Or is that just
everywhere?
something, a projection that Nancy has put on her
Yeah.
because she's seen her mom drunk maybe more than she should have?
Yeah, and so she's like, oh, she's drinking wherever, whenever, you know, because they, like I said, they go down the stairs and the mum's just got a bottle of alcohol there.
Yeah.
She doesn't pull it out of anywhere. Like
She's just
It's
got
just
it.
there.
It's literally like she's sitting there by the furnace and it's sitting next to her.
Exactly,
It's like
that's-
she took it with her almost.
yeah, but it's broken.
Yeah.
The sequence before that, she broke it.
she
She's
breaks it and then she's got, in the next sequence she's just got another bottle of,
Yeah,
of vodka there and it's just refilled.
It's okay, kids. I got this.
yeah.
Very good.
And also, like, it's not alcohol in America is super cheap, so it stands to reason. Like,
Yeah.
she could fill that house, every room, somewhere a stash bottle.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the
In all fairness, she
frickin-
seems pretty well to do. Like their house is really nice.
Yeah, I don't understand. Did they inherit money? Because I don't see a police chief earning that much money. I've seen Veronica Mars. Okay.
I don't know what it is, but like a lot of movies like this in the like set in the 80s and even made in the 80s, they seem to have really nice large houses. Like I know
like,
I thought about this when I was watching Stranger Things a little while ago, where I was like, wow, like these kids have like Nancy's house is really like Nancy in that movie. Her family, their house is really nice. It's like this 2-story, like really large place. And I was like, and then I started thinking like, oh wait, there's a lot of movies in like set in the US where they just have massive houses.
I was looking Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and they do have massive houses, but in their defense, they
had money.
Yeah, they had money.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a nice, especially in a suburb of Chicago, if you're gonna have a nice house like that, you got cash.
Yeah, like his mum was a real estate agent.
But
Dad worked in the city.
What's the property value of real estate in Ohio in the 80s? That kind of.
Who cares? It's the Midwest.
Exactly. But that's something.
Sorry, Midwesterns who are listening to this show.
There's none. All our listeners are Malaysian, as we found out 2 weeks ago.
Really?
No, we don't know. I haven't checked the metrics in a while.
Carl just wants to be big in Malaysia.
I want to be big in like a country that I've never been to.
Fair. That's fair. Same. Anyway, I don't know well, I feel like most standard houses in America are double story.
Yeah.
Standard houses in America are double story. Like my house is a double story, but it's actually not like an upstairs. We have a large full basement. Like it could be it legitimately could probably be another house if there was like a full bathroom instead of a half bathroom. But we got very lucky with this house. It was quite cheap, I think, in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
So the market has definitely gone up as it has in Australia, but I feel like it could have been more affordable for people in the 80s to buy big houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I think
remember,
so, for sure.
my parents always tell me, invest in property. And I'm like, but Mum, I don't have money.
Yeah,
but I'm
it's
poor.
not the 80s anymore, Mom.
Yeah. It's like she was like, oh, when I was, slightly older than you, I was buying it. And I'm like, no, not this way.
Yeah, show her how much like the cheapest property in Bandura is. It's still expensive.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing I always find weird about American houses is that they all have basements.
Yeah. It's a thing there more than
Well, that's because because I found it weird that you guys have no basements here. Because I thought surely you guys would want to make basements because they're so much cooler. They're so much cooler in the summer. But it's because your ground is different than ours.
Yeah.
Your dirt and the
makeup of the soil is probably not as stable.
Yeah. Not at all. So it makes sense. But yeah, I lived in the basement of my house. I freaking never left it during the summer because it was so cool. It was so nice. And upstairs, it was like, this is hell.
Oh, whereas in Australia, it's just, this is hell.
It's hell all the time.
Let me just walk to the kitchen. Oh, God, I'm on fire.
Let me just step outside. Oh, no shoes. My feet are burning.
Yeah. Stand on the road, barefooted in summer.
Glass.
Lovely.
Yeah, you walk in the shaded bits, like if you're leaving your house barefoot.
That's
just
exactly
that way
it. If
you
I
can't...
ever walk outside barefoot, it's just like, all right, don't stand where the sun is.
I've seen pictures where people's flip-flops, their thongs, they'll melt to the friggin' pavement.
I've never had that happen.
I've never had that happen, but I don't wear flip-flops. I have seen it happen, though.
It's probably if they, like, stand for a long time. Because in America, where I'm from, it gets pretty hot. It gets to not as hot as here, of course.
Gets to what?
I can think of it in Fahrenheit. I can't think of it in Celsius. But
shoot out the Fahrenheit number.
It has gotten to like 108 degrees.
Okay, because 100 is about 40 here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, Carl. Look at you go.
Oh, okay, so that's pretty hot.
Yeah, I've lived in this country for 3 years. Still don't give a crap about metric system.
How dare you? Metric is the superior system.
Look, it makes sense. Like, logistically, it makes sense. But when you've got like 22 odd years of just Fahrenheit and imperial system in you, it's really hard to break that.
America is like one of 3 countries that use imperial. It's just wrong. Just give up on it already.
Well, you guys invented it, okay? The English.
That's it, huh? Kick out the English and take all their shitty systems
Fuck
with
your
it.
tea. Fuck your chicken strips.
No cheeky Nando's in my country.
No way. If you don't want the English stuff, why have you still got the imperial system? The metric system was made by the French.
There you go.
I don't make the rules, Alex. I merely enforce them.
Lafayette. Make him panicky.
Are you still trying to figure it out?
No.
Figure out what?
The Fahrenheit to Celsius. What are you doing? You looking up property values?
Yeah, all of them are way above my value.
1980s Ohio property values.
Sure, why not?
Because from what I can find, the first one was filmed in California, but they never mention where Elm Street is, nor does Elm Street ever appear in the movie itself, which is interesting.
That's true. They never actually mention what street they live on.
Nope. I don't think there was even a sign.
No.
Yeah, at no point
So we
did
just
Elm
had to
Street
take
show up.
their word for it.
Pretty much, it's just the title is just that's it. It could have been named anything else, and would have been just as applicable. But from what I can figure out, the town it's like I think the town they're in is called Sunnyvale, or Sunnyvale or something like that. That comes up later on, and it's later revealed to be in Ohio.
Well, I'm from Sunnyside, so
It's not Sunnyside.
Oh no.
No, it's some.
Why
it's
are all
someplace in
these
Ohio.
towns like? Because in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they're in Sunnydale.
Sunnydale.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's
Yeah.
like we
Sunnydale
live
High
above
School.
a hellmouth. It's just like
It's meant to be they're trying to it's trying to be ironic.
the same thing with Toy Story 3. Sunnyside is a dark place.
Apparently the median home price in 1980 for a house in Ohio
Yeah,
was 88,000.
that's pretty.
Yeah,
pretty good.
that's great. That's like a small apartment here, maybe if you're lucky.
Dream on.
Like a small apartment. No, not even. I've seen.
In Woolert, maybe.
Yeah, in Wallen.
Yeah. Dream on, not in my country.
Make Australia great again.
Okay, and the household income in
Wellington.
Ohio has fallen since the 1980s.
Oh dear. See, they could have really nice houses back then. They were all fucking rich, and their houses cost nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what does a
In-
police chief get?
Yeah, in 1945,
imagine
the
he'd be
average
doing well.
income was like $46,000 a year, the median income.
There you go. So, he was doing so imagine,
A bit more than that, I'd hope,
I
as
imagine
police chief.
Nancy's dad was doing pretty well for himself.
He was also very handsome.
Was he? Seemed a little bit aged and bold for my liking.
Oh, I've seen him. I can't remember the actor's name, but he was really prominent in 70s television.
Really?
Yeah, me and my mom watch a lot of old TV, and he's
Okay.
very. I can't. Let me look up his name real quick. But
Okay.
he used to be a babe. He was like the Johnny Depp of the 70s.
Oh wow.
And then Johnny Depp
and then he
took
just,
over the title.
Then he got
Of Johnny
old.
Depp and-
Yeah. Then he got old. Appeared in a movie with this young kid who was in his first movie named Johnny Depp.
Who only got picked because Wes Craven's daughter thought he was dreamy.
Quote dreamy, and because Charlie Sheen asked for too much money.
Well, Charlie
They
Sheen's
couldn't
a
afford
prick.
Charlie Sheen, so they got Johnny Depp. Could you imagine?
To be fair,
Can you imagine
Charlie
saying
Sheen.
that now?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Can you imagine saying that in
Also,
2018?
one of the other people,
hey, we couldn't afford
one of
Charlie
the people
Sheen.
they
so we
also
bought Johnny
considered
Depp.
was Nicolas Cage was also considered.
Really?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because he
He's
started
Nicolas Cage.
going into movies too. He was on. He was in the movie Valley Girl around this time.
Yeah.
Ah.
Apparently, Nicolas Cage was also considered. Can you imagine how insane that would be? Nicolas Cage going about like, I'm in a dream.
It's all right, Nancy. I got it.
Oh, that's how I know him for sure. So the Nancy's father, his name is John Saxon, and the movie I most remember him from is Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why I thought he was attractive. Look, anybody doing
That-
flips
yeah.
and shit and making quippy comments. Hello, my name is Lizzie. Here's a random set of numbers. It may look like
Your
completely
social
random,
security number.
but it's no, it's my phone number. Please call me. Please, no, don't call me. Text me. I don't ever want to talk on the phone.
I can't. The moment someone calls me, I freak out.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have a problem calling people.
That's different. What was I going to say? Speaking of dreamy, I'm going to go something completely not dreamy. Does Rod not own a shirt?
No, he does.
He owns the one, and it has no buttons on it. It goes right down to his belly button.
No, so I realized he was also using that to gag what's her face. That's what he used. Like
What?
if you look at it, when he like jumps out of and grabs her
Yeah.
and pulls her in, she ends up holding his shirt. She's
Really?
holding his shirt.
I didn't notice
I
that.
assumed that he used it to like make sure to muffle the noise.
Oh, okay.
And so like when he's pulled her
because
into
that's
the
not
bushes,
creepy at all to take off your shirt, muffle someone with it, and drag him into the bushes.
I feel
that's
like
not a sign
Rod-
that you're murdering.
yeah,
the
and that's
local
why he doesn't have a
teenagers.
shirt in the next sequence. I think.
Well, no, I
Still
think
has
that's
his leather
why
jacket though.
Rod is I feel like Rod is an interesting character that we should delve into because
absolutely.
out of everybody, we see everyone's parents except for his.
Yeah.
And they call him a sociopath or a psychopath. That's what Nancy's father calls him.
Yeah, they mention when Nancy's in, or when they're going through the police station just before Nancy's questioned, that Rod being number one is the number one suspect because not only was he there, but they'd also had a fight and he'd also had previous incidences with drugs and violence before.
Yeah, exactly. And they do always fight. So
Yeah.
it just makes me wonder what happened with him. So I feel because his parents aren't around, so he may be one of those guys, wrong side of the tracks kind of dude. You know?
Yeah. Bit of the greaser type character.
Yeah. He did look like a greaser.
Oh yeah.
That's
jeans and the leather jacket.
Fuck Johnny Depp. I was like, yes, Rod, please don't die.
My favorite line in this though is like like at the very start he's like to Tina, I've got a hard on with your name for it.
God. Yeah.
And she's like, my name has 4 letters in it. I'm surprised I don't think you can get more than 3 on your dick.
I'm surprised it
Bless.
fits.
And I was like, oh, that was like brutal. That man needs a hospital because he got murdered.
They say if 10% of your
Apply
body is
cold
burned,
water onto the burn.
Yeah, I was like, oof.
savage.
uh,
Brutal. Savage. Wrecked.
Fatality.
Finish him.
She did.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was the loudest sex scene I think I've ever heard.
Loudest.
I feel bad for Johnny Depp who's just lying in bed going,
Sitting there on the couch like,
He's like,
okay.
they're kind of dating, but I have an actual steady girlfriend who doesn't
Yeah.
even want to make out outside.
Nah.
All right. The balls,
Great.
they're blue.
I wanna go home.
Why'd I even come here?
No one knows.
Because Tina didn't feel safe. Because
Yeah.
Tina was smart enough to know that much, that she wasn't safe after having a dream that everyone else had.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bizarre. Like everyone else had the dream. Like I know Johnny Depp's character was trying to like play it off. And that was the bizarrest.
Even Rod was, because she asked him like, "Oh, you had a bad dream too," and he's like, "Well, you women don't have a monopoly on bad dreams. Guys can have them too."
Then he rolled over and went to sleep.
It's like, fuck you, Tina.
Yeah. Then I think it comes up later on where he brings up like the knife-handed guy.
That was at the start though.
Prison.
That was at the.
I think he brings it up one more time.
Yeah, it
afterwards
gets
to
brought up.
Nancy.
Like he's the one that you definitely know also had the dream because he's
Yeah.
a bit surprised, and like Johnny Depp's character is a bit like.
No, but that's the thing though. I think that maybe Johnny Depp wasn't having the dream because he wasn't actually attacked or a victim, or his parents had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Because-
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, because he
Because-
did look up once when they said, I had the same dream too. And he's like, what? That's impossible.
Well, it's interesting to think of because he didn't seem to be having the dreams either. And he falls asleep when Nancy tells him to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Because
he's
he doesn't
like,
seem
all
like
right.
he's not terrified of going to sleep like she is.
No, and he's
Because
been
he's
sleeping
probably-
soundly.
Yeah, and his parents are the only ones we see together.
Relatively happy.
Yeah, so maybe it's possible that because Nancy's mother said that Freddy Krueger got off on the trial. Like the lawyers got fat, the judge got famous, but he walked because someone forgot to sign a form in the right way. But the way Freddy Krueger met his end was a bunch of parents tracked him down and then burned him alive. So it's
Yeah.
possible that when she says a bunch of the neighborhood parents got together and did it, maybe those two weren't involved.
It's got to be Rod's parents must have been involved.
Mm.
Definitely Tina's parents and Nancy's parents.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I think that's a good idea of why them in particular are being tracked down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really stated in this movie. But it pretty much is overtly stated in. We were talking about last week the Groundskeeper Willie Treehouse of Horror clip, where Willie basically says "I'll get you, but not I'll get your children instead of you, but where you can't protect them in their dreams," that kind of thing. So I feel like it's pretty much that was pretty much saying what happens in this movie.
Apparently that happens more in the second one or something. It actually goes into the backstory or the remake or something. It actually talks about how
the
they
remake
actually kill him.
or in one of the 6 sequels to Nightmare on
I'm
Elm
not sure
Street.
because I know apparently in one of them they go into how he Freddy became died and it's because he gets set on fire.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's Freddy Krueger's weakness is being lit on fire.
I
or
think
his
that's
fear.
everyone's weakness, but okay.
But as
Except the
as
Human
a horror movie
Torch.
monster,
It's not the Human Torch's weakness.
Fair.
it causes him great
Flame
pain.
on.
He's in so much pain. But that's the thing of Freddy versus Jason, where Jason's terrified of water, Freddy's terrified of fire, because that's how the two of them died. I should totally watch that later. Freddy versus
I've actually
Jason, see what it's like.
the only movies I've ever seen have been this Nightmare on Elm Street and the new one.
Okay, so none of the sequels?
No, in the last 3 years, I've really been on a horror film streak. But before that, never really did it because I startled quite easily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I startled really easily.
Yes, you do indeed.
I'm going to edit it so it makes that seem a little bit more obvious. Or I'm going to put a big gap of silence in there.
Please do. Anyways, but I startle quite easily. And look, me and my mom had to walk out of the room for when we watched Signs.
Signs? Really?
But I startle easily. Also,
Fair
I
enough.
was like 10.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but I have to walk out of the room if it gets too scary, which is why I like watching horror movies at my house, because I could be like, all right, it's time to pause,
And
maybe take
I'm
a potty
leaving.
break, get some M&Ms.
I'm a bit more of like a just sit through it until it ends kind of person. Like even when I'm sitting like in my room like watching something just on like a phone or whatever, I still make sure I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna pause this. I'm just gonna watch it through to the end. I'll block out my 2 hours that I need to see it. And I'll get the experience the
That they
filmmakers
intended. Oh,
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this shit's getting a bit too intense. I'm gonna step away for 10 minutes.
Fuck you.
I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. I'm just saying I don't do that.
See, my thing is that like with horror movies and stuff, I feel like they're always best watched with the audience.
Yeah.
Like for me, they're always like designed to be watched with more than like yourself.
You think?
I did watch the new It with, because
Yeah.
obviously I couldn't watch the old It with an audience, but I watched the new It with an audience. I went to the theater. I really didn't want to go because I'm like, can't walk out.
I love that one.
Nowhere
so
to hide, but it did feel more scary. Felt scarier with an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was watching it like behind my scarf. I'm like, all right, I feel like there's a jump scare coming. Let's kind of get ready to hide.
See, I had an interesting experience watching It, where I walked into the theater and I was like, I've made a terrible mistake because
Yep.
it like beforehand, it's like a whole bunch of groups of people, like
And
just
you
these
were
young.
you alone?
Yeah, I was alone.
Why
for
did
this
you
one.
go alone?
Because I wanted to see It, and the only other person I could find who wanted to see it had already seen it. So I was like, well, I guess I'll go to where I can find it for cheap and watch it alone. And sure enough, it was just like a whole bunch of people who like in these weird, like there's a bunch of kids basically watching it. And I was like, oh, these guys are talking, and like the movie starts and they're talking through the movie, and I was like, this is the worst. But then there's a point where where it turned over like pretty close to the opening segment, and I was like, oh fuck, everyone's quiet now, and they're actually terrified of this movie, and it started working out really well.
Because they're all bibbas.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't find this film too scary. Like,
Well, no, but that's because we've grown up in a time where the scary movies have been scarier because of special effects, like really good special effects, and also I feel the storytelling for scary movies is definitely different.
Yeah, it's definitely become. I'm not gonna say it's like I'm not gonna say they've refined it.
Nah,
but
there's still
but
things
they've
they can do.
It's changed.
There's
I
more
feel
like
when
tension.
Yeah. Now it's either you're getting the massive amounts of dread that you get with
Creep.
or you're getting just so like the jump scare. Like
yeah,
they're going to
like
get
they build
you.
up. They build up the tension. You're like, okay, this is scary. This is scary, and then you can kind of figure out where the jump scare would be. But then they do like a double jump scare.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm just like, fuck, you thought it was this, but it's that. Like in the I think it's The Conjuring.
Yeah.
When she's in the basement and they're playing the hide and clap, and you hear the kid whispering, and she's got the match, and then all of a sudden, the clap right by her head, and you're like, fuck me. That is not what I was expecting. I was expecting to hear the clap, wasn't expecting to see fucking hands.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Nowadays, it's like you have the tension builds up, and then it's like a string snap where it's just like, okay, and then it hits you. And you sure enough, that's the kind of thing that makes you jump. Mm-hmm. But whether or not that's scarier is different. Like, sure enough, you might not jump at Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, Freddy Krueger doesn't really just kind of show up and burst out of the like corner of the frame and go, spooky.
look at my hook hand.
Look at my claw. Though he does do
Luigi.
Wang.
And Freddy Krueger's been ruined for me forever since now I'm just going to picture Waluigi.
Yes. No, but I feel like
Luigi
But
can
like,
wing.
there's only one time he really does that, which is when Nancy's staring at herself in the mirror and he bursts through the mirror.
Yeah.
Which is cool as hell.
Yeah, I really like how with this one it really preys on a human's need to sleep.
Yeah.
And the dread of falling asleep and waking up with marks on them.
Yeah.
Not just marks, but burns, actual injuries.
Yeah. She wakes up in class and it's like, oh, right. I've literally steam burned my arm.
And
That's how
she
we
did
find
it
at
to
the
wake
realization.
herself up,
Yeah.
too.
And then later on, crawls out of her dream with Freddy's hat, and she's got massive claw marks on her hand from trying to take it off him.
This isn't real, honey. It's just the dream. Go back to sleep. Mom,
Mom,
you were watching me.
You were watching me the whole time. I've got 4-inch deep razor blade cuts on my arm.
Where did I
And there's
sneak
a
in a
man's
hat?
hat.
and it was this man who was terrorizing our neighborhood.
Fingernails don't do this. You know?
Yeah. Huh. Seems legit.
Right.
Thanks, Mom.
Gee,
Just
you're
drink,
such a great
drink
mom.
your fucking vodka and let me emancipate myself.
I want to move in with Glenn.
His parents have it together and then put bars on the window.
Gonna jump in the blender.
Oh, God.
Yeah, jump into the void. Whoop, the blender.
Babe, like, the most romantic thing you can do is, like, jump into the blender with me, babe.
Yeah.
We'll,
Man, Johnny
we'll
Depp's-
share a grave.
But I don't understand why Glenn's parents hated her so much.
Because they
They
thought she was a
weird.
lunatic.
Yeah.
She spent 7 days of not sleeping.
That's true.
Her mother put bars on her windows.
That's true. That's
And
fair.
she was shouting constantly. She just seemed like she was wrong in their head. She called
know
them
what?
that night saying like, hey, I really need to talk to Glenn. Can you put him on? Oh, I'm not going to tell you. It's super private and serious. I was like, okay, yeah, we're not dealing with that right now.
Yeah, and
Like, looking at it from their perspective,
okay,
there
yeah,
wasn't something
I take
right
that
with her.
back.
She'd
No,
just
no,
been
no.
to like a sleep
It's just like you need
specialist.
to, honey, please.
Yeah.
Not,
But
not my precious baby Johnny Depp.
She definitely would have been off her rocker by that point. Like, being up for 7 days.
Yeah,
That
with,
would-
like
that's-
micro sleeps.
Yeah. I think there's a whole web series called Day 5, which is about like it's this apocalypse TV series where falling asleep kills you. Like if someone falls asleep, they just die. Like there's some sort of plague going around where you die when you fall asleep. So
Well, I guess I'm dead.
Yeah. So it's called Day 5 because like the whole series takes place on like the 5th day after this apocalypse has started.
Yeah.
So
So
at that-
everyone died.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So like it's this like the last few people there are losing it because like after 5 days of being awake nonstop, you're hallucinating,
Yeah.
your body's exhausted, you don't like there's nothing you can do about that.
So it's just like
it's
at this
creeping
point,
inside.
accept your fate.
Yeah. She does actually say at one point, I look like she's on the phone to Glenn and he says, "How long have you been up?" And she's like, 7 days. I looked it up. I looked it up on Guinness. The record's 11, so I'm fine. Like she throws that like so nonchalantly out there, just like someone did it for 11 days. I'll be okay for 4 more.
And then Johnny Depp was like, all
And
right.
Jeff's like, all right, I'm gonna go back.
Still
to
waiting
sleep."
for that Nancy poon, but okay.
Maybe if she's sleep deprived enough.
She'll finally let me kiss her in a way that isn't like God appropriate. My God.
Jesus, man.
Well, it's true that because at first, look, in the beginning, I felt like all the stereotypes and character tropes I had for the characters was all flipped.
Yeah.
Because Tina, I thought was gonna be the virgin, you
Yeah,
know,
she-
because she had the
we
white
see-
nightgown.
Yeah, she had the white nightgown, and when we see her wake up from her dream, she's got the
The
crucifix,
crucifix,
over her bed.
and she's telling the pervy guy to fuck off, you
Yeah.
know. And then Johnny Depp and Nancy, I can't remember, Glenn
Yeah.
and Nancy share like this kiss, and it's
Yeah.
very chaste. And I was like, all right, okay, see what's happening here. And then all of a sudden, Nancy's banging a dude,
Yeah.
and Tina's banging a dude, and Nancy's like,
and then fucking
not
dies
now,
for it.
Johnny,
Yeah.
not now.
Yeah, it was like
and then she's the one with the crucifix over her bed, and Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger creeping out of the wall. It's awesome.
It was like when
Creepy
we
as fuck.
were watching when we were watching, we were comparing it to Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We started comparing it to like the athlete, the scholar.
Yeah.
There was no Joker, but
Yeah. There wasn't too many perfect fits, although Glenn kind of fits into the athlete the best because she mentions you're a jock, you got a baseball bat or something.
Yeah, and he had a crutch too, and
Yeah.
his door. I liked his door, but it looked like a locker. Like
Yeah.
that's how people decorated their lockers for athletes, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
then-
sorry, you wouldn't know that, but yeah, that's what they
Yeah,
did.
so Nancy was like she's
I
final
felt like
girl.
she
she's
was.
the
I
virgin
felt like
character.
everyone was kind of a mix of characters, though.
Yeah.
Because I
And they
felt
are.
Nancy was a scholar and the virgin because she
Yeah.
was reading the books and trying to figure it out.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
and that's the thing about Shore Cabin in the Woods is like a very it's very stereotypical. Like that's the idea.
It
of
really plays on those stereotypes.
Yeah, it really it throws those out as being like the hard and fast rules of this is how it is, but it's not always that way.
No, of course
Yeah.
not.
Like you never always have the 5 characters.
See, that's why it's a
You gotta mix them up.
stereotype because
Exactly.
it's just like a blasé,
Yeah,
whatever the word is, assumption of people.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like to be fair though, if you have 5 characters,
If you have 5, that's a good way to.
Yeah,
that's
it-
just like a clever. That's just like the classic horror movie way to go
Yeah.
about it. Is just to go. All right, so this character's the stoner. Blah blah blah.
yeah, the Joker, the athlete, like you got
Mm.
the jock, you got the jock's girlfriend basically half the time. I don't remember what they called it. Was it the whore or
Yeah,
Yeah, you got the
The whore.
the
yeah.
whore.
You're a whore.
He can't say the word. It's fine.
No, I don't want to.
Say it.
Whore.
There we go.
I said it earlier. Don't want to keep repeating it.
Does it make you uncomfortable
Stop
to say
being so demeaning
whore?
towards women, Alex, okay? Saying such words multiple times. How dare you?
Just cut
But
this
anyway,
out.
you've got all the characters in there. Like,
Yeah.
like for like 5 people, it makes sense, but there was only 4.
Mm.
I honestly counted the mum, who was the drunk.
Yeah, there you go. That's your stereotypes filled out. She's an important character.
Yeah, so the mom dies too.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
dies in a very dramatic way, which makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if maybe she was the perpetrator of all of this.
Maybe.
And that's why Nancy was last.
I think she was. I think she must have been pretty responsible for it in some way.
She
If
did
Freddy
have
Krueger's-
Freddy's claw.
Yeah, that's the thing. She had the claws hidden in the furnace.
The furnace. Very poetic.
Yeah, because they burned him.
So I'm
Yeah.
thinking that she probably was the ringleader and all. In
Yeah.
it all. Which would make sense if they had another child who died.
That's true.
Yeah.
It would make sense if they had another child who died and she started all of this and thought she could get away with it because her husband's the police chief.
Yeah,
You know?
that's fair. Actually, that's a really
And then so the revenge is that I'm gonna kill all these children around you. You
Yep.
know yours is gonna be next. You're gonna watch her suffer, and then I'm gonna kill you too.
I mean, like, then it would make sense that, like, the dad became so dedicated to his work, like, if they had a child that died, but, like,
Yeah.
the legal system couldn't put him away.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like,
true.
because, like, the search warrant was signed in the wrong spot or something.
Yeah, so he was just like, well, I'm not gonna make mistakes like that. I'm gonna be better than that. He became a workaholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would explain why you never see him at home.
But there's my new headcanon for Nightmare on Elm Street. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like when he went to to Glenn's house, he was wearing normal clothes, but he wasn't in the house at all.
No.
So that makes me wonder if he sleeps at the office too.
But also,
Maybe.
it's a dream.
Or is it?
Or
Because
is
we
it?
don't know which part of it's a dream.
But
and
also,
what point the
if-
dream starts and
At that
ends.
point, it was the dream, because that was when he pulls out. But that's
But-
when she's about to fall asleep.
But
Okay.
wouldn't you have your
Is it
dad
though?
wearing police clothes then?
I don't know.
Because if he's
Nice.
doing his job, he'd be in his uniform.
Because
Yeah.
I thought the dream would have started after Glenn died.
I just assumed that.
Like
all
she goes to sleep and then she just doesn't
I
wake
assume.
up.
I actually assumed that was part of the dream.
Oh, okay.
Because that would explain why they all just accept that the dude just got fucking liquidized.
But they didn't really accept it though. Because
No.
they were sitting there going, "This is fucking horrific."
Yeah, this is fucking horrific, but not like this is physically impossible.
Yeah.
But they never say it's physically impossible. They never describe it as being physically impossible.
Exactly, that's
but they,
why I
but
think
they
it's
do
the
describe
dream.
as being so. They do describe it as being incredibly implausible because they say, "What the hell could have done this?"
Yeah, I still
'Cause
think
they
that
do-
was part of a dream.
Okay.
I just
Well, hang on. Let's think about where the dream could have actually started. Because if this whole thing has been a dream, I think maybe the dream possibly started after Rod died somewhere.
So yeah, I was gonna say.
Because that's when the deaths are still pretty normal.
See, I was gonna say that Nancy was awake until Glenn dies. Then she falls asleep like she tells her dad. But then instead of waking up, dragging Freddy into the real world, she stays asleep. And it's just another layer
What if
down.
she's in a coma?
She's in a coma for
Who
the entire
knows?
movie.
Well, what if maybe instead of her actually falling asleep, then what if during her sleep study, that's when she fell asleep forever? Because they tried giving her something to sleep. What if she was just asleep that entire time, the rest of the movie?
Who knows? I do like that theory. And on that, I think we should end for this week. Next week, we've got... So this is interesting. So Alex just brought up this movie to me today. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, we've changed plans. We got to do this. So it's called... Was it an Irish film?
yeah, it's a film from I think Ireland, yeah.
So it's called Grabbers. It's a 2012
Grabbers.
movie where the plot is about alien vampires coming to Earth.
No. They're alien. They're not vampires. They're just
Okay.
blood-sucking aliens.
Okay, so
They're like tentacles. That's
Okay.
what I mean.
So blood-sucking aliens come to Earth, and the only way to avoid them is to drink.
Yeah, it's to be drunk, to have alcohol in your system.
So we're going to come back and see that episode. We're going to go see that, and then we're going to come back next week and talk about Grabbers.
Reasons I'm an alcoholic, so I don't die.
Yeah, I'm set.